What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In the last video or two, you guys have seen I've been having some alignment issues with the gray RSX, whereas when you lower these cars, the alignment gets super thrown off, and then either cut your tie rods, get adjustables from Ktuned, because you run into the issue I'm having now, which is where, as you can see right there, we are out of threads, right? You don't see, there's supposed to be a couple threads where the nut is, so you have adjustability, but as you can see, we are literally out of threads. It's maxed out on both sides and the toe is still off. So I am going to be installing some adjustable, they're DVRace DVRace tie rod, inner tie rods right here. As you can see here, this metal piece here, or the threads threaded and out, and then you lock it with this. Fits right into the OEM. So I'm gonna be swapping those out with these literal brand new ones that I just did. And I'm gonna be doing the rack slider as well, because I have a lot of play in the wheel. Like right here, if I go side to side, it has a lot of play. So it could either be the slider, or I'm thinking it could be the wheel bearing, but I wanted to do the slider anyways, so that's what we're going to be doing here today. The inners, the slider, and then yeah, I don't have the outers yet, so I'm hoping that it comes in pretty soon, because I want to be able to drive this car. It's just been a lot of fix this, fix that, alignment's not good, you know, whatever. So we're going to be doing the inners today along with the rack slider, and then yeah, hopefully it goes pretty well. I'm going to show you guys how to do that. You do have to, what's it called, you do have to grease the slider on the inside, so I'm going to show you guys how to do that as well. But for now, let's get these wheels popped off so we can get access to those right there, because I tried doing it with an adjustable and it's just on there really tight. So Noelle lent me this tie rod removal tool set, so we're going to see how that works. All right, so I got both the wheels popped off here. Just gonna grab my little stool, have something to sit on. I got the car on the stands. I'll show you guys what we're getting into. So in here, as you can see, this is the outer tie rod. So you're gonna undo this nut, take this, what's it called, out of here. You just bend these back, right? Bend them back so they're flat, like that. And then you're gonna slide them back through the hole. So I'm gonna use a pair of pliers, but it's as close as I get it by hand. So you take this out, right? And then I'm gonna show you how to take the inner tie rod out as well, using the tool that Noelle let me borrow. And while I'm in here, I'm gonna be doing a bolt check, because I do have like a weird noise from this car. I think it might be an axle click from how low I am. Whenever I rock back and forth, like from like a start at a first gear, the car does like a little click click, like you can hear it. So it sounds like an axle click, or maybe the coilover is loose. So I'm just going to do a bolt check while I'm in here and make sure everything's good. Or like I said, it could be a wheel bearing. So we're going to just check that while I'm in here. But I want to get all these tie rods and the slider swapped out first. And then while I'm in here, we're going to check out what's making that noise. All right, so I got the nut off here with a 19mm socket. So now we have access to the outer tie rod. So you can take your hammer here, and you're gonna get this to pop out of where it is. So just tap on it, centered. See how it popped out? Just like that. You don't want to go too crazy, because you don't want to ruin the threads if you plan on reusing your outers. I'm going to be getting new ones, so it's not like as important to me. But that's how that's done. Now to get to the nut on the inside here, you're going to put a wrench on, on this part right here and another wrench on the nut, and then you're just gonna hold this and spin this free, because this is what locks into here. So you're gonna undo this part right here. All right, now that I got the nut loose, you can just spin the outer tie rod off the inner like so. Ta-da. That's how it comes out. See, it's shorter than normal because I had to cut it because I was just literally out of threads. So I'll take this nut off with it. It's starting to rain. I don't know what is good with me working on cars in the rain, because it said it wasn't supposed to rain till 5 and it's 1. So I don't know why it's raining already. So we're just gonna get as much of this done today as I can before it starts pouring and the car has to sit for a little bit. So that is how the outer comes off. Put that there. Now we're gonna hook up the kit to the inner tie rod and hopefully get that out. All right, so basically what you're gonna do, I found the one that's closest in size, 1.3/16", and you're just gonna slide this into here in these slits, and then with this little groove here, lock it in place. Now you should be good to slide this over the outer tie rod. All right, so first issue I've run into with this tie rod tool from Pittsburgh right here. So as you can see, I have it slid over, right? See that kind of rusty bolt? It's hitting right there. So this needs to slide over more to be onto here, but this piece is too big, so it's hitting that bolt right down there. So I can't get it to slide all the way over where it's supposed to be. Guys, so this tie rod toolkit did not actually work for me, because this end piece right here is just too bulky and it's hitting the bolt around the edges. So that's not going to work. So what I did instead, if you have enough room back here, which most RSXs you can kind of figure out how to make some room, use an adjustable, put it on that black piece that's kind of scraped up right there, and break it free. So that's what I had to do to get this to spin. Hopefully it'll just come out now. Yeah, it's spinning. So now, as you can see here, you're just gonna take the nut off. And you're just gonna spin this tie rod until you get it all the way out. All right, now that that's out, as you can see here, this is the tie rod I had in there. Don't lose that. You're gonna wanna reuse it if you don't have a new one. This is for that. Now we have that out. So we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. And then after that, see that bolt right on the riser there? Right in the center of the screen. That's a 17. So to take the bolt out, you have to take the inner tie rods out. So we're gonna do the other side, then take the 17s out. Then that'll allow us to have access to the slider behind that. So hopefully I can get the other side to break free. I'm just gonna do the same thing I did on this side. I'm gonna undo the outer tie rod, take my adjustable, and see if you can break free the nut right here. All right, so I just got both the inner tie rods disconnected fully out of the car. I also took out the rack riser, which is right here. 2 17mm bolts. As you can see, everything is now apart. You're gonna wanna use like something like this to get those 17mm bolts off the riser, and they just pull right out. So now we're going to be cutting a slit in the rubber. I've looked online, I've asked a few different guys in the RSX community on like what the best way to do this is, and everyone kind of answered the same way. You just want to take like a small razor blade and then cut a slit in there to get the slider out. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Let me just find a razor and then we'll get to it. All right, so what you're gonna wanna do, take your razor blade and you're gonna wanna just cut a slit literally right along the middle. Right in between these two holes, you're just gonna wanna cut a slit right down the center, and then you can pull this slider out of here. All right. Now you can see here how I split the middle of it open. Ta-da. So now that that's cut, we're just gonna see if we can take this piece right out. This is the slider. It should be right in here. Might be a little bit of a pain to get it out. There's one half of it. All right, come on. There's the other half, and you need to take this bolt nut piece out with it. You guys can see we now have the piece out. It's pretty worn. Look at how messed up the edge of this is. Pretty messed up for sure. I haven't really seen it in person yet, so the ends of this thing are pretty worn out. Right? So we'll show you what the new piece looks like. Should have it around here somewhere. Right here. Here is the new one. Replaces the old one. You're gonna reuse these, and then you want to pack. See how it's got like kind of like grease on it? You're gonna want to pack where you took it out of in the car. So that's how that comes out. Let me just clean up my hands, and I'm gonna pack that with grease, and then we'll put the new one in. I got the grease in where the old slider was. The slider goes. Put the new slider in, and I gotta just tighten up this riser, put the new inners in, and then should be good to go. It made kind of a mess. As you can see, my grease gun decided to fall apart on me. So I had to put all the grease in there by hand. It made a fucking mess. So there's definitely some grease I gotta clean up on the rack and the tire, or the strut bar, and one of those coolant lines, but it's in there. I replaced the slider. It's kind of a bitch to get back in there because the boot shifts and you got to line it up perfect. So, and with the grease being in there, it just makes a fucking mess, but it's in there. I just got to tighten it up. That was not terribly hard. I mean, it worked better with the adjustable wrench from the top to break the inners loose. And now I just got to thread that riser piece from DC5 Creations back in, and then see how this SHG rack slider does for me. And then we'll put these new inners in the car. That's the old one. It's pretty worn out. Adjustable inner. Let's see. Comes with new washers. Another one right here. And then in here is the piece that threads. I already have this one done, but it goes right in here, and that's how you can adjust how far in you want for your adjustment for your outers. Let's tighten up the riser that I put in, then get these threaded in there. And I believe my boy said you have to hammer this, when you slide this over here, it goes like right against the riser. He said that you're supposed to like hammer it flat. So we'll see what we can do with that. We're getting ready to put this last tie rod back in here. As you can see here, it is machined to have that piece down there thread into it. Comes with brand new hardware from Honda. So basically what you do is this piece here, it's gonna come separate, right? You're just gonna wanna thread this into here like so. Right? And that's how you're gonna get your adjustment, for how far in or out you need your tie rod to be. Because when you lower these cars, you run out of threads because it's just like crazy towed in, just the design of the rack. So you have to either A, cut your inners and your outers to try and get enough to squeeze the room out, which is what I did, and it was still not enough. It managed to work on my red car, but I don't have as much camber. This car has a lot of camber. So these DaVinci, they're called DaVinci. I'll put a link in the bio or the description. They're the DVRace, DaVinci inner tie rods. They come with the adjustable part. They come with the new lock, the washer for the center, and the slider I got from SHG. I'll put a link for that. And then the riser I got from my sponsor, DC5 Creations. I'll put a link to that. So I'll link all this stuff in the description if you guys want to check it out. And this is just kind of how you can move this whole piece way in or way out, depending on like how you need it. And then right here, this piece goes right on the end of this, like that. It'll sit right there. So as you get it almost tight, you just want to make sure that that is like on the correct lip. So let's go thread this in. As you can see, I already got the other side done. Now we're just going to do this side. Guys, it started raining, like actually raining, so I'm pretty much done here for the day. The riser is in, the new slider is in, the new inners are in. I'm just waiting on OEM outers to get to my house, get them delivered. But everything's all bolted back together. You just repeat the process backwards for what you did to take them off, and you're pretty much good to go. I just got to get that, like I said, I got to wait for the outers to come in. And when you go to finish up your installation, right here, you see the silver washer there on the end? This right here, this washer, you have to hammer it so it sits flat on the riser. So you want to take an extension and put it, or like a flathead, and put it right on this lip, and then hammer it this way, like that. So you want it to sit on there. So that's one thing I got to do. I still have to tighten down the inner right there. The best way to do it, I'll put another link in the bio. I don't have the tool for it. I gotta order it. It's a crow's foot wrench, because the adjustable, you can't really get enough torque on it. It's enough to like break it free sometimes, depending on how tight it is. Since the what's it called, inner tie rod tool that I got doesn't fit, it's too bulky, and my boy sent me the link to the crow's foot. So I'll put that in the description. It's like just a little wrench end that you can put a extension into, like a 3/8, and then you use that to tighten down the inners all the way. And then once the inners are tight, that little washer I just showed you, you just put a flathead against it and hit it with a hammer, so that way it crushes itself over the riser. That's very important. Make sure you do that. Other than that, put your outers, thread them back on, tighten them up with the nut onto the inner, right on the end of this, right here where the nut is. Thread your outer onto there, and you use the gold nut that comes with it. See that gold nut that's on there? You use that gold nut to adjust how far in and out the inner sits, because you need the adjustability when you're low. And then your outer just sits all the way threaded in, and then you use the inner to move it back and forth depending on how much you need. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. When the rest of the stuff comes in, I'll just get it done. But I hope you guys learned something, made use of what I'm trying to do. This is my first time doing this as well, so it is a little messy with the grease. Just make sure you do it, because you need to do it. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next RSX video. Peace.
Yo,